Hey everyone, welcome back to Bible Verse Breakdown. I'm your friend Ewaenruwa Nomaren, and in this video, we are going to be breaking down the verse, James chapter 1, verse 13, which reads, "Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God, for God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man." So there are two things that we need to understand in this video. Firstly, what does it mean that God cannot be tempted with evil? And secondly, what does it mean for God to not tempt anyone? Why doesn't God tempt anyone? So the first part, that God cannot be tempted with evil, is actually kind of straightforward. You see, because God Almighty is like, the supreme being, according to Psalm chapter 95, verse 3, Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 17, and other places, what he does is automatically correct. It's automatically right. We look at Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 4. The prophet Moses described it. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. So, because that is who God is, then God cannot be tempted with evil, because that would mean that God is being tempted to do something wrong. And if that's the case, who is now the judge of what's wrong? Is it us? Well, we certainly can't be, as Paul said. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that thou repliest against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou made me thus? According to Romans chapter 9, verse 20. So Paul was making reference to the fact that we cannot judge God. He even said, Yea, but let God be true and all men liars. In Romans chapter 3, verse 4. So God cannot be tempted with evil, because it is what he does that is correct, and what he doesn't do is evil. So if God does something today but doesn't do that same thing tomorrow, then what is right and what is wrong changes according to what he does. So the concept that he could do something wrong, it doesn't really make sense, and so God cannot be tempted with evil. Then the idea that God does not tempt anyone. God Almighty does not drive people to do evil, because if he does, that means he's pushing people to offend him, and who does that? God Almighty loves righteousness, which is based on what he likes. As the psalmist said, "For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness, his countenance doth behold the upright." So he wants us to do right. As Paul said, he wants us to be saved, according to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 3 and 4. So he can't suddenly begin to drive us into sinning against him, because that would be him acting against his own will. And once again, who does that? But God Almighty can allow temptations that come from Satan the devil. Christ said in Matthew chapter 18, verse 7, that temptations just have to come. As he said, "Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe unto that man by whom the offense cometh." See also Luke chapter 17, verse 1. God can allow these temptations to come for our own spiritual development, because temptations have a way of not only trying our faith, but kind of refining it, the way you use heat to, refine elements like gold. And that was what James was trying to tell us in James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3. "Brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience." The Apostle Peter also referenced the same thing in 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 6 and 7. "Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ." So it is through temptations that our faith can be refined, and God is interested in our faith being refined, according to Zechariah chapter 13, verses 8 and 9, just as he did to Job. And if you read James chapter 5, verses 10 and 11, the same Apostle James spoke about the patience of Job, which was now seen or evident through those temptations which he passed through. So in summary, what James the Apostle meant in that verse is the fact that God cannot be tempted with evil, because the concept of evil and good is defined by him and what he does. And God does not tempt anyone, because it is his rule that people please him, not sin against him. And so he cannot be pushing someone into sin. And that is where I'm going to stop. I'm breaking down what James the Apostle said in James chapter 1, verse 13, which once again reads, "Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when we come back with another Bible verse breakdown video. Have a great day, and God bless you.